This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Dilini Gunawardena and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. Landslide early warnings are issued to 5 districts in the island. Vehicle import restrictions are to be lifted by the end of the year. The President's climate advisor holds talks with the Egyptian Premier. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says actions are underway to make the Department of Posts a profit-making institution. The Lanka Mineral Sands Limited commences direct mineral exportation. And on international news, the Indian government's G20 invitation to the foreign leaders sparks row. And on sports tennis, the US Open 2023 fan is ejected after disparaging remark towards Alexander Zverev. The National Building Research Organisation, NBRO, has issued landslide early warnings to 5 districts due to the heavy rain prevailing in some parts of the island. Accordingly, landslide early warnings have been issued to Galle, Kalutara, Kagala, Kandy and Ratnapura districts. The NBRO has issued warning level 1 yellow alert for Baddegama, Alpitia and Nagoda divisional secretariats in the Galle district, Valalavita, Palindanuara and Matugama divisional secretariats in the Kalutara district, Udapalata divisional secretariats in Kandy, Ruanvalla, Bulatkohupitiya, Yatiyantota, Dharaniyagala and Dehiyovita divisional secretariats in the Kagala district, and the Kalavana, Kiriyalla and Ayagama divisional secretariats in the Ratnapura district. Level 2 warning notifications have been issued to Bulat Sinhala and Inguriya divisional secretariats in the Kalutara district, Varakapala divisional secretariat in the Kagala district, and Heliagoda, Kuruvita and Ratnapura divisional secretariats in the Ratnapura district. In the Kagala district, Ruanvalla, Bulatkohupitiya, Yatiyantota, Dharaniyagala and Dehiyovita DSDs have been issued a first-level landslide warning. These warnings will be effective till 4 p.m. tomorrow. The officials of the Ministry of Finance revealed to the Committee on Public Finance today that all existing restrictions on vehicle imports except for the vehicles brought down for personal use will be lifted by the end of this year. However, the officials emphasized the need to prevent the creation of a duopoly under such circumstances. The Committee on Public Finance met today, headed by MP Dr. Harsha De Silva. In a landmark meeting at the Africa Climate Summit 2023, Senior Advisor to the President on Climate Change, Ruwan Wijewardena, engaged in a fruitful discussion with the Egyptian Prime Minister, Mr. Mustafa Madwali. According to the President's Media Division, the meeting underscored the growing importance of international collaboration in addressing the pressing challenges posed by climate change. The meeting between Mr. Wijewardena and Prime Minister Madwali was marked by in-depth discussions on the potential for strengthened cooperation between Egypt and Sri Lanka in mitigating the effects of climate change. Both leaders expressed their dedication to finding innovative solutions to the environmental challenges that transcend borders. Mr. Wijewardena's participation in the summit at the request of President Ranil Wickremesinghe signifies Sri Lanka's unwavering commitment to global efforts to combat climate change. The summit held in Nairobi, Kenya, has drawn international attention as world leaders convene to chart a path towards a more sustainable future. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that it is expected to make the Department of Posts a profit-making institution in the next year. Minister Gunawardena made this remark at a program held at the auditorium of the Ministry of Mass Media organised by the Universal Postal Union. Computers and other services were distributed symbolically to the post offices across the country. He added that the prevailing economic crisis will result in a restructuring of state enterprises. The State Minister Shanta Bandara said that the Department of Posts will no more depend on the Treasury by the end of next year. He added that procedures are underway to update the Department of Posts using modern technology. The Lanka Mineral Sands Limited, Pulmade, commenced direct mineral exportation recently. Over 3 decades, mineral exportation took place through a third party due to the war conflict that prevailed. 30,000 tons of zircon was exported from the Trincomalee harbour as the maiden direct mineral exportation of the institution. Minister Ramesh Pathirana participated in this event. Lanka Mineral Sands Limited contributes largely to the national economy by direct mineral exportations. Not only that, the Ports Authority earns huge financial benefits through shipping operations. The chairman of the institution, Dr. Udeni Dasanayaka, said that it is expected to continue direct mineral exports. As the next step, 60,000 tons of ilmenite will be exported to China in the near future. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Speaker Mahinda Yapa announced the Supreme Court's determination on the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill during today's parliamentary session. Accordingly, the court has determined that the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill can be passed by a simple majority of the legislature. He added that the Supreme Court has held that neither the bill, which was challenged in the court, nor any of its provisions is inconsistent with Article 12 of any provisions of the Constitution. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
And on Watch Light tonight, the Northern Railway line will be closed temporarily from January 2024 for renovations. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said the renovation work on the Northern Railway line will take place for a period of 6 months, following which trains will operate at the speed of 100 kilometers per hour from Colombo to Kankasanture. He added that the renovation work on the Colombo to Panadura tracks will commence shortly. In addition, plans are in place to remove the speed limits on the Kalani Valley Railway line in order to increase the speed of train services. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Say no more to moving and paying rent. Get a home loan from Commercial Bank at the lowest interest rate and get a home of your own.
Which banda are you in now?
In Javath, in my own house.
Moving on with world news and the headlines first. The Indian government's G20 invitation to the foreign leaders sparks row. The French state schools turn away dozens of girls wearing abayas. Cuba uncovers Russia-Ukraine war trafficking ring. A row has broken out in India after the government used the term Bharat in an official invite for the G20 summit being sent on behalf of the president. The dinner invitation from President Draupadi Murmu to foreign leaders attending the summit describes as a president of Bharat. Several ministers from the ruling BJP party cheered the move, but opposition leader questions its purpose. The move comes amid reports that the government is mulling changing the name of the country officially to Bharat, but there has been no confirmation. The French public schools have sent dozens of girls home for refusing to remove their abayas on the first day of the school year, according to French Education Minister. Defying a ban on the garment seen as a religious symbol, nearly 300 girls showed up wearing abayas. Under instructions laid down by the ministry, they followed, in each case, a period of dialogue with school staff in which most girls agreed to dress differently and were able to start classes. 67 girls who refused to comply were sent home. The Cuban Foreign Ministry says it has uncovered a human trafficking ring aimed at recruiting Cubans to fight for Russia in its war in Ukraine. It said that Cubans living in Russia and even some in Cuba had been incorporated into the military forces taking part in the war in Ukraine. Cuba is a close ally of Russia, but it stressed in its statement it does not form part of the conflict in Ukraine. There has not yet been a response from Russia. Back to the world news headlines. The Indian government's G20 invitation to the foreign leaders sparks row. The French state schools turn away dozens of girls wearing abayas. Cuba uncovers Russia-Ukraine war trafficking ring. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
And on development news, Air Arabia Abu Dhabi has announced a new route connecting Abu Dhabi to Colombo, Sri Lanka. With operations beginning on January 3rd, 2024, the low-cost carrier will offer 3 weekly flights between Abu Dhabi International Airport and the Bandaranaike International Airport. This move is a part of Air Arabia Abu Dhabi's ongoing strategy to enhance connectivity to and from the capital. The addition of Colombo route marks the carrier's 34th destination. That came to you in development news.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well experienced home cooks. Salary 135,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
A fan was ejected from the US Open after being accused of Alexander Zverev of using the most famous Hitler phrase, "There is in the world." Organizers removed the fan from Arthur Ashe Stadium after a complaint from German 12th seed Zverev. A few minutes later, security personnel stepped on to the side of the court and ushered the respective fan out of the stadium. However, Zverev went on to beat the Italian 6th seed 6-4, 3-6, 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 in a match lasting almost 5 hours to step up a quarter-final meeting with the defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. That was Sports News.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel, the national ICT solutions provider, has signed an agreement with Golden Tower Private Limited to provide comprehensive ICT solutions with SLT Mobitel fiber connectivity for its living complex located at number 11, Boswell Place, Colombo 6. The General Manager Consumer Business Support at SLT and Director of Golden Tower Private Limited recently signed the agreement. This agreement will give residents of the Golden Tower Living Complex access to SLT Mobitel's advanced fiber connectivity and comprehensive ICT solutions, allowing them to enjoy faster and more reliable internet speeds. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
The Minister of Justice, Prisons Affairs and Constitutional Reforms, President's Council, Dr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa says work on recovering the money deposited in foreign countries by individuals who fraudulently acquired assets in the next few days since the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has agreed to provide the necessary support for the task. The Minister made this disclosure during a discussion held with the South Asian Regional Representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime at the Minister of Justice yesterday. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragama and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. A few showers are likely in the Mannar district. Fairly strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers, can be expected at times in the western slopes of the central hills, northwestern, northern and north central provinces and in the Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That was the weather report. And now to in this news broadcast, the main points once again. Landslide early warnings are issued to 5 districts in the island. Vehicle import restrictions are to be lifted by the end of the year. The President's climate advisor holds talks with the Egyptian Premier. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says actions are underway to make the Department of Posts a profit-making institution. The Lanka Mineral Sands Limited commences direct mineral exportation. And on international news, the Indian government's G20 invitation to the foreign leaders sparks row. And on sports, tennis, the US Open 2023 fan is ejected after disparaging remark towards Alexander Zverev. That ends this news broadcast.